December 11th, 1941. 449 Marines on Wake Island. 12 F-4F Wildcat fighters, 6 5-inch coastal guns, facing the entire Japanese Fourth Fleet, 11 ships, 2,500 men. The Japanese expected this to take 6 hours. It took 16 days. And the most famous message from Wake Island never actually happened. Send More Japs became an American legend, boosted morale across the nation, made Wake Island a symbol of American defiance. Only problem? Nobody on Wake Island ever said it. The real message was different, more desperate, and America never heard it. This is the story of what actually happened on Wake Island, what was really said, what was never sent, and why 400 Marines waited for rescue that never came. This is about the messages that mattered and the message that was made up afterward. Wake Island wasn't supposed to matter. Tiny atoll in the middle of the Pacific, 3 islets arranged in a V shape, total land area 2.5 square miles, no natural resources, no strategic value, except one thing: location. Wake sat exactly halfway between Hawaii and the Philippines. Perfect refueling stop for Pan-American clippers. Perfect advance base for military aircraft. Japan knew this. America knew this. Both wanted it. America got there first. January 1941. 1st Marine Defense Battalion arrives, converts Wake into a military base, builds airstrip, installs coastal guns, positions anti-aircraft batteries. By December, 449 Marines, 12 fighters, VMF 211 Marine Fighter Squadron. Commander James Devereaux leads ground forces. Commander Winfield Scott Cunningham, overall command. Their orders: defend Wake Island. Against what? Nobody specified. Defend it anyway, with whatever you have. Make the Japanese pay if they try to take it. December 8, 1941, 0600 hours Wake time. Pearl Harbor happened 7 hours earlier across the date line. Wake gets the news by radio. War has started. Japanese attacking everywhere. Philippines hit. Guam hit. Wake Island will be hit soon, probably today, probably in the next few hours. Devereaux orders all aircraft airborne. Get them off the ground before Japanese bombers arrive. Too late. 11:50 hours. Japanese bombers from Roy Namur. 36 aircraft. The Wildcats are still on the ground, refueling, rearming, easy targets. The bombers destroy 7 fighters in the first pass, kill 23 men, destroy most of the aviation equipment. VMF 211 goes from 12 aircraft to 5 in 10 minutes, and the war hasn't even been going for 12 hours yet. For 2 days, Japanese bombers hit Wake. Morning raids, afternoon raids, destroying facilities, killing men. Devereaux can't stop them. 5 fighters can't intercept 36 bombers. Anti-aircraft gets some, not enough. By December 10, Wake has taken significant damage, lost more men, communications equipment damaged, fuel supplies burning, food storage destroyed, and nobody's coming to help. Pearl Harbor is crippled. Philippines is collapsing. Guam surrendered December 10. Wake is alone. The Marines know it. They've been trying to reach Pearl Harbor by radio, sending status reports, requesting reinforcements, requesting air support, requesting anything. The messages get through. Pearl acknowledges receipt, promises help is coming, doesn't say when, doesn't say how much, Just promises. Keep fighting. Help is coming. Hold out as long as you can. December 11th, 1941, 0300 hours. Japanese invasion fleet appears offshore. 3 light cruisers, 6 destroyers, 2 transports, 2,500 men. They expect this to be easy. Quick landing, overwhelm the defenders, take the island by noon, raise the flag, claim Wake for Japan. Nobody told them about the coastal guns. Devereaux has positioned 6-inch naval guns at key points, camouflaged, hidden. The Japanese don't know they're there. The invasion fleet closes to 9,000 yards, well within range. Devereaux holds fire, waits, lets them get closer, closer. At 6,000 yards, he gives the order, open fire. Battery L targets lead cruiser Yubari, direct hit. Battery A targets destroyer Hayate, multiple hits. Hayate explodes, breaks in half, sinks in 2 minutes. First Japanese warship sunk by American forces in World War II. First Japanese naval defeat. The remaining fighters scramble. 5 Wildcats versus an invasion fleet. They attack with bombs and strafing runs. Hit destroyer Kisaragi. Magazine explosion. She sinks. 2 Japanese destroyers sunk. 1 cruiser damaged. The invasion fleet withdraws, abandons the landing, retreats beyond gun range. First Japanese amphibious assault of the war has failed. 400 Marines have repelled 2,000 Japanese attackers. Wake Island holds. That night, Devereaux sends his status report to Pearl Harbor. Enemy surface units repulsed. 2 destroyers sunk. Minor casualties. Ammunition expenditure moderate. Morale high. Request air support and reinforcements. The message gets through. Pearl Harbor receives it, acknowledges. America learns that Wake Island won. David beat Goliath. Marines beat the Japanese Navy. Newspapers run the story. Radio broadcasts spread it. And somewhere in the retelling, someone adds words that were never actually sent. Send us more Japs, later shortened to send more Japs. Perfect propaganda, defiant, cocky, American. It spread across the nation within days, boosted morale, gave people hope, showed that Americans could fight back, could win. But nobody on Wake Island ever said it. The actual message was straightforward, military, professional. No jokes, no bravado, just facts, status report, request for help. December 12 through December 22, 11 days. Japanese bombers hit Wake every day, sometimes twice. The Marines can't stop them. Down to 2 fighters. Can't intercept 36 bombers with 2 aircraft. Anti-aircraft crews do their best. Shoot down several. Not enough. Every raid destroys more facilities, kills more men, burns more supplies. Wake is dying slowly. Every night, Devereaux sends messages to Pearl Harbor, detailed reports, ammunition status, casualty counts, damage assessments, requests for support. The tone changes gradually. December 12, optimistic, still confident. December 15, more urgent, ammunition running low. December 18, desperate, need reinforcements immediately. December 20, critical, cannot hold much longer without support. Pearl Harbor responds. Relief force is coming. Task Force 14. USS Saratoga, Fighter Squadron, Marine reinforcements, ammunition, supplies, everything Wake needs. Just hold out a few more days. They're coming. Keep fighting. Help is on the way. Devereaux reads these messages to his men. Morale improves. They can last a few more days. Help is coming. They just have to survive until Task Force 14 arrives. What Devereaux doesn't know is that Task Force 14 keeps getting delayed. December 16, mechanical problems. December 18, refueling issues. December 20, orders to slow down. Admiral Frank Jack Fletcher, commanding Saratoga, is proceeding cautiously, too cautiously, making 12 knots when he should be making 20, stopping to refuel when he should be pushing forward. By December 22, Task Force 14 is still 400 miles from Wake, still one full day away, and Wake doesn't have one more day. Japan has committed overwhelming force. After the first failed invasion, they're not taking chances. Admiral Kajioka returns with 4 heavy cruisers, 6 destroyers, 2 seaplane tenders, 2 transports, 1,500 troops, supported by 2 fleet carriers, Soryu and Hiryu, fresh from Pearl Harbor, with their full air groups, over 100 aircraft, against 2 American fighters, against 400 Marines with depleted ammunition, against coastal guns that are almost out of shells. December 23, 1941. 0100 hours. Japanese landing begins. This time they're not cautious. They come straight in, land on multiple beaches, establish beachheads before the Marines can respond. By 0200, Japanese troops are ashore, fighting hand to hand. The Marines fight back, every position, every foxhole, every gun emplacement. They make Japan pay for every yard, but they're outnumbered 3-1 and running out of ammunition. 0600 hours. Devereaux and Cunningham assess the situation. They control maybe half the island. Japanese control the other half. American casualties mounting. Ammunition nearly gone. No way to stop the next Japanese push. And Task Force 14 isn't here, still 400 miles away. Even if Fletcher pushed forward at maximum speed, he wouldn't arrive until tomorrow, and Wake Island will be completely overrun by noon. 0700 hours. Cunningham makes the decision. Surrender. Spare the men. Fighting on means death for everyone. No reinforcements coming in time. No ammunition left to fight with. No tactical advantage remaining. Continuing the fight means dying to no purpose. He orders white flags raised, orders all weapons laid down, orders all resistance to cease. After 16 days, Wake Island falls. 0730 hours. Final radio message sent by radioman J.O. Files. Shortest transmission from Wake Island. 4 words. Enemy on island. Issue in doubt. Then silence. The radio goes dead. The Japanese have cut the power, destroyed the transmitter. Wake Island is off the air. No more messages, no more updates, no more requests for help. America doesn't know what happened, doesn't know Wake surrendered, doesn't know if anyone survived, just silence. But there was one more message, one that was composed but never sent. Cunningham had drafted it the night before, to be transmitted if surrender became necessary. It read, "We have done our best. We are overwhelmed. Request permission to surrender to avoid further loss of life." Never transmitted. The radio was dead before he could send it. This was the real message. No jokes, no defiance, just reality, defeat, and the plea to end the killing. 400 Marines became prisoners of war, survived 16 days of siege, repelled one invasion, sunk 2 destroyers, shot down dozens of aircraft, held out longer than anyone expected, longer than Guam, longer than any other American position in the first weeks of the war. But they surrendered, believing help was coming, believing Task Force 14 would arrive, believing America hadn't abandoned them. They were wrong. December 23rd, 0900 hours, Admiral Fletcher receives word. Wake Island has fallen. Japanese in control. He's 400 miles away. Task Force 14 turns around, heads back to Pearl Harbor. Mission canceled. No point in reinforcing an island that's already lost. No point in risking Saratoga against Japanese carriers. The relief force that was supposed to save Wake never got there. If Fletcher had maintained speed, if he hadn't delayed, if he'd been more aggressive, Task Force 14 could have arrived December 22, could have reinforced Wake before the final attack, could have changed the outcome. Instead, they were 1 day late. The Marines on Wake didn't know this. They surrendered thinking help was close, thinking they'd only lost a race by hours, thinking they'd fought as long as humanly possible. They had, but they'd also fought alone. Task Force 14 was never going to get there in time. The delays were too many. The caution was too great. Wake Island was sacrificed, not deliberately, not maliciously, just through hesitation and fear and the fog of war. Of the 449 Marines captured, 120 had been killed in combat, 49 wounded, 2 missing. The survivors spent the rest of the war in Japanese prison camps, some at Wusong near Shanghai, some at Kiangwon, some sent to Japan itself, worked as slave labor, starved, beaten. 97 died in captivity, of starvation, of disease, of execution. In October 1943, the Japanese executed 98 civilian contractors who'd remained on Wake. War crime, never explained, never justified, just murder. The "Send More Japs" message became part of American mythology, symbol of defiance, symbol of courage, symbol of American fighting spirit, used in war bond drives, used in recruitment posters, used to boost morale. Nobody corrected it. Nobody explained it never happened. The truth didn't serve the narrative. The myth was better, more useful, more inspiring, so the myth persisted. After the war, researchers found the truth, examined the message logs, interviewed survivors, confirmed that "Send More Japs" was never sent, likely invented by a radio operator at Pearl Harbor, meant as a joke, spread as truth. But by then it was too late. The myth had taken root, become part of American war memory. Wake Island defenders became legendary for something they never said, while what they actually said, what they actually endured, what they actually achieved got overshadowed. The real story of Wake Island isn't about one defiant message. It's about 16 days of fighting, about making Japan pay 3-to-1 casualty ratios, about sinking warships with coastal guns, about holding out longer than anyone thought possible, about waiting for rescue that never came, about surrendering only when ammunition was gone and further fighting meant pointless death. That's the real heroism. Not a fake radio message, not propaganda, just Marines doing their job under impossible circumstances. 400 Marines waited for Task Force 14, waited for Saratoga's fighters, waited for reinforcements that never arrived. They didn't know they'd been abandoned, didn't know the delays, didn't know the hesitation. They thought help was coming, fought like help was coming, surrendered believing they'd done everything possible. They had. But the help they waited for was always one day too late, one day that changed nothing for the Pacific War, but meant everything to 400 Marines who thought America was coming to save them. That's the real story of Wake Island. Not send more Japs, but help is coming. Keep fighting. Hold out a little longer. Messages of hope that became lies. Not intentional lies, just the chaos of war, just the fog of combat, just the difference between what commanders promise and what logistics can deliver. The Marines on Wake believed those messages, fought because of those messages, waited because of those messages, and surrendered when reality finally overtook hope.